Boom, boom, kaboom. It's Noof Nukem back in the room, episode 7 of the Gaming Fuse Podcast. We've got a dynamite show coming your way tonight. Hello to the chat. You guys are absolutely amazing. Thank you for being here. As I said, we kick off this new venture. Looks like the intro actually ran pretty well this time. Thank God for that. Yes, indeed. And I got some new stuff coming in the works here, courtesy of my good friend Sean Labrie. So hopefully we'll have more of that in the coming weeks. But anyway, let's introduce our panel before we acknowledge the chat and get right into it. We got an amazing guest for you tonight. If you didn't see it on Twitter, we'll bring him in just a moment. But starting off, the man who makes things so big, they call him Titan. Here he is, the one and only Titan Drago.
What's up, everybody? What a good week, eh? Fucking, it's over. Fucking wave your fucking winning flags out there. Fucking, remember the old Jim Carrey, man, of the Cubs, man? He used to sing the winning song and stuff, and then they had the 7th inning stretch. What good old times. Fucking fantastic week. So my G Fuel flavor for the week has got to be my favorite flavor thus far, and I got to give it a 99 just because there's always room for improvement. Sour Blue Chug Rug is the flavor to beat. Sour Blue Chug Rug. Wife hates the name, but the flavors can't be beat. If you're going to try a G Fuel, that's the one to get because that's my favorite.
Thank God it's not Smurf Fuel because it'd be Sour Blue Cum Rug.
I think that's one of the reasons why she doesn't like the name. It's too close to... Too close, all those phallical names.
All righty, let's bring him in. Our other co-panel member. Hopefully his audio is sorted out off the air there. He was having some crazy, if Darth Vader's voice chat machine went haywall, that would be it. Here he is, Mental 9R.
Let's cross our fingers.
Here's hoping it's
hey, all right.
Back to normal. Oh, man.
He doesn't sound like a... fucking, what the fuck am I trying to say?
Psycho?
Possessed fucking bot.
Yeah, no, it's the curse of this makeshift little work area I've got. So moving my laptop around and plugging things in and unplugging them, somehow my gain shot through the roof. So it's good now, I think. Mm-hmm. Hopefully, you guys tell me. But I'm pumped for the show, man.
You sounded good, looking good, and hopefully all the moving stuff is mostly sorted out, or at least part of it.
Wraps up next Monday, so I don't know if I'll make the show or not, to be honest, because we move in on Monday. But the drama's hopefully over, and things are better on the move in than they were on the move out. That's for sure.
Well, that's good. That's good to hear, my friend. Glad you can make it this week. Just keep me posted on next week.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Special guest tonight who I thought would be perfect for this moment since obviously running one of the biggest Xbox-centric podcasts on the planet. We love him to pieces. Funny, charismatic, and he's got a name that just totally jives with this podcast. The one and only host of the We Bleed Green podcast, which you can find him just before we go to air. That is the one and only Dirty Griggity in the house.
Hey. What's up, man? What's up, everybody? Thanks for inviting me. How you guys doing?
You forgot to mention that he gets paid by Phil Spencer himself.
Yes.
That's funny
thing. Podcast, yes.
Yeah, I've been accused of being paid and being the token black guy for Xbox.
Okay.
Phil's best buddy.
I love
What's
how
up, everybody?
The two bald bearded glasses guys on the bottom of the screen. That's awesome too.
Right. That's right. Chocolate and vanilla. There we go.
Oh my god, damn.
Good times.
Oh, it's going to be a good show. As you can already tell, the energy is high. It's been a good week, especially if you happen to be an Xbox fan. It certainly put a lot of money, time, years into the ecosystem. It's only going to get better from here on out, folks. Obviously, the FTC was shot down their court appeal against Microsoft to acquire ABK, Activision Blizzard King. Fell through. Lena Khan obviously getting embarrassed in court. If you were watching the proceedings, guys literally laying out how bad she's been at bringing this stuff to light. 0-4 apparently, and she was basically getting roasted inside the court. It was awesome to see. So hopefully taxpayers' money going somewhere else. Apparently they're even talking about cutting their funding back by 25% too now. So if that goes, it's like it's going to get from bad to worse. Yeah, as they say, what is it? If you mess with the snake, you get the fangs, something like that. Either which way, guys. Yes, I mean, there's still a few hurdles left to be done, but they went and tried an appeal that was shot down as well. So here we go. We're one step closer to Xbox, and we're going to talk about what it means for us fans, what it means for the company, and where they go moving forward. And I guess what is Sony's reaction to this? We're already hearing lots of rumors and rumbling and fanboys crying all over the place. I'm sure Dirt can't wait to get in and talk about that because he loves to bask in those salty ass tears that we see all the time. But let's catch up with the chat real quick because we've got an amazing group hanging out with us tonight, including the one and only Doggy Dog is first in the house. We got Timothy Dixon hanging out with us. We got one of the guys from the chat who came over from the We Bleed Greens. Can't wait to see Dirt. Then we got Wayan Pasau. Hopefully I pronounced that correct. We got Talos Ray, Darko's Dreamin', Stimber's in the building. Splendiferous is here as well. We've also got, like I said, Doggy Dog, Stinking Corpses in the building right now. Lady Foxfire was here. We got Princess Zelda hanging out with us. Talos Ray, Spider-Man 356. Our Rob's in the building. Stinking Corpse here, back from the dead. 2-pad stack. We got your Wicked Hot hanging out with us. Squiggles 420. What's going on? Good to see you here. Who else we got going on here? Man, Crispy Rambo's in the house tonight. The Who's Who Toolman, Draven Narrow is hanging out with us. Man, oh man, we got some crazy ass people in the chat right now. Good to see you. There we go. I think we just about Curry Cosmos is here. Good to see Curry, or I used to call her Christina. It's good to see you as well. Crispy Rambo. Yes, I think I caught up with everybody. If I forgot to mention you, make sure you shut it in the chat, and I will do my best to give you a shout out. But it is a great chat, and let's have a great show. Woo! All right, and we got one super chat. We might as well let Titan get that one out of the way. Again, super chats are not required, but they are certainly greatly appreciated. Help support the channel. Hit that like, comment, and subscribe. $1.99 coming in, courtesy of our good friend Doggy Dog 420. Go ahead, Titan.
Main man, Doggy Dog. Happy Monday, new panel and chat. Fist bump, beers, loving it, loving it.
What's up, Doggy Dog? What's up, Doggy Dog 420?
Yeah, baby. Doggy Dog, one of the biggest supporters of anybody's channel, let alone my
absolutely,
own.
Man.
Yes, he's here for my gas. Well, hopefully you won't hear any of that. But I should let everybody finally know, and I told Titan before we went live to the show, hopefully my tech troubles are a thing of the past. Finally invested for my birthday gift yesterday, invested in a new freaking PC. Finally got an Intel i5 hexa-core with 8 gigs of RAM and solid-state drive. So first off, the boot up is nice and quick. Thing is nice and quiet,
Nice.
and so far no hiccups. We'll see how this runs. It's not a gaming PC. I didn't buy it to play games. That's what my Xbox and PlayStation 5 are for. But I figured there should be enough clout in this thing to at least run YouTube and StreamYard. And if it can't, my God, I'm going to give this thing a massive boot and I'll film it. All right.
You should have included that in your tweet. You were scared, ain't it? You were scared, like, because you're not a computer guy.
Hey, at least the damn intro actually ran for the first time in weeks. So, that was a positive sign. So,
You got an i5. You're good to go.
Yeah.
Wow.
Crazy Greek dude is here, yo! And hey, look who else is here, Titan.
Joe Dunmore.
Joe Dunmore. What's up, player?
By the way, shout out to Cole Eastwood, the Meg, and Rand over there rocking the XNC podcast right now, guys. Obviously, a lot of people stroll into this one a bit late, and I hate it jumping on anybody's toes, but I had to find a night, and I had to find a better time, and unfortunately, this was where it was. But anyway, let's get right into it, guys. The ABK merger a little closer, like I said, to being in the rearview mirror after all the proceedings. What do you think? I don't even know where to start on this one. You know what? Let's start with our guests. Let's start with Mr. Dirty Griggity himself. If Dirt's tired tonight and he needs to back out early, he's more than for it. But we will try to keep this show on point, at least under 90 minutes if all possible. Dirt, what was your whole takeaway from the entire thing? It's been a long time coming. This has been dragged out for months, and finally there's some light at the end of the tunnel. As I said, from a fan perspective, how do you view it? From a Microsoft perspective, where do you think this goes?
Well, it's been a long 18 months, man. We've been talking about it the entire time. It's provided great content, but it's coming to an end, and obviously it is great for Xbox fans. Maybe in April, it wasn't looking too good when the CMA blocked. A lot of people was like, hey, you guys, it's not going to pass and blah, blah, blah. But it's looking like it's definitely going to pass now. It's not a matter of if, but when. So I just feel that this acquisition is important. to Xbox, and it's more about mobile than anything. I think people still forget to mention that it's more about mobile than it is Call of Duty. I know Call of Duty is the game that's mentioned the most because it's such a huge game. It's such a successful game, but mobile is very important to Microsoft. We've heard Phil Spencer say that they have no presence in mobile at all. And this is a big presence because they immediately get the Candy Crush and King and Call of Duty Mobile, which are pretty big games. So this is a great thing for me personally as an Xbox fan, not just as an Xbox fan, but as a guy who enjoys games, a guy that enjoys Game Pass. That benefits me. I can't speak for everybody else, but for me, it benefits me. I do love the Call of Duty franchise. I buy it every year. Going to be able to save money, and also Xbox is about to have 35 studios now once this acquisition goes through, and that's great for console war bragging rights, of course, but also when you have that many teams, they can share information with one another. That's a great portfolio of exclusive titles for first party titles. And I'm just really happy about this. And in 2017, Xbox had 5 studios. They have 5 studios. And
I was just about to say, this whole
crazy to think about that.
It's crazy, right?
So essentially what this really is too, and for Xbox fans, it means that Xbox is dedicated and committed to the long
100%.
haul here. They're not spending almost $70 billion. You just be like, 3 weeks from now, forget, we're not committed, right? So I think that's where the Xbox fans goes. We know they're committed to the brand. We know that Game Pass is solidified with all these studios. We're going to have more games than ever. You're going to have some good ones, and you're going to get some stinkers in there. And that's something that fans have got to be certainly aware of and got to be, acknowledge that you're not going to have AAA, 90 Metacritic games at every time something gets released. But we would like to see frequency picking up a little bit. And I think that is soon going to be in the rearview mirror as well. And again, the portfolio of games that Activision has in their stable is just massive. And it's going to be an instant boon to Game Pass.
Mm-hmm. And you think about it, it's really financial security for the future.
Right.
I mean, this is an investment to every meaning of the word investment. This is, I guarantee you, when he comes up to Satya and says, let's spend $70 billion, they went through the numbers, they poured through the numbers of what these companies are already bringing in on a yearly basis, and they've seen it across the years, and their numbers just keep going up and up and up. And the quality just keeps getting better, and it's top tier of the line across the board with all of their games that they produce, no matter where they're releasing them on, whether it's on console or PC or even mobile. Like, that's what this is about, man. Right. Like when Jim Lion Ryan, hopefully he comes into the chat again tonight. Love seeing him here. when he said, this isn't an exclusive. This isn't about exclusivity. This is something else. He doesn't know what it's like. I'm sure he has, his own theories or whatever. But that's what I think this is about. It's about longevity. It's about securing the brand pretty much indefinitely from this point on.
Dirt, let me ask you this. How much do you think the marketing now is going to change the perception of Xbox, right? I mean, it's we know that marketing is huge, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
It is huge. It's one of those things that definitely gets downplayed in a lot of markets. But, when you've got the billboards, you got the signs, you got the commercials. And I don't think there's too many people on this planet that don't know what an Xbox is. But to have, the Call of Duty game, for example, was almost synonymous with 360. You thought about Call of Duty, you thought about the Xbox platform. And for years now, that hasn't been so. Call of Duty obviously was front row stage over on Sony PlayStation. And I think that's what they're afraid of. They're afraid that now the shoe is on the other foot. When you can take this to the bank. When Xbox, the next Call of Duty games, when they're done the whole PlayStation contract of promotions, you can guarantee that you're going to see Call of Duty on those boxes. You're going to see Call of Duty on those billboards. If Master Chief wasn't getting the job done for a lot of people, and we hear that all the time, well, Master Chief is not what he was, and Halo's not what it was. Well, Call of Duty still is the big boy on the block, and it's not going away. We can say that right now. So people
Mhm.
know what that brand is. People buy consoles specifically for that game. You mentioned it on your podcast in the last hour.
Yeah.
Top selling game on PS4, Call of Duty. Top selling game on PS5, Call of Duty.
Yep.
Now, what's going to be the top selling game on PlayStation moving forward? Call of Duty.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
But it's going to be really weird when you see that Microsoft Publishing logo coming up on the damn screen, right?
This will be
I
very
just
weird.
hope they do that. I really
they will.
hope they do that.
They will.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
how much involvement is Xbox going to have with Activision? Are they going to sit back and kind of let them do their own thing, kind of like they've done with Bethesda, or do you think they're going to have a more hands-on approach? Maybe will they rest the Call of Duty franchise for a bit?
Well, if I'm not mistaken, I believe Phil Spencer, after the acquisition is finalized, is supposed to run Activision Blizzard, unless I'm mistaken. I thought I read that Phil said he's going to run it. I believe they'll still obviously run themselves because they're a publisher. They've obviously run, the company pretty good, except for sometimes like Bobby Kotick want to get touchy-feely and with people.
Mhm.
But I just feel that what you said was great points about marketing, bro. We think about Hogwarts Legacy in February. PlayStation sold like 500,000 or 600,000 consoles. That's not by accident.
No.
A lot of people thought Hogwarts Legacy wasn't exclusive to PlayStation 5 because of the way they marketed it. And Sarah Bond came like the case that the FTC versus Xbox case a couple weeks ago when she was on the stand. She said PlayStation marketing deals are very aggressive to where Xbox, a multi-platform game that was obviously on Xbox but marketed by PlayStation, Xbox couldn't announce the game.
Mm-hmm.
The only place they could say that this game was on Xbox was Xbox own website. They couldn't, outside of Xbox website or their YouTube channel, they cannot say Call of Duty or Hogwarts Legacy was on Xbox. So marketing matters. And what you said was true, Noof. When Xbox owns Activision Blizzard, they're going to take that marketing away from PlayStation, obviously. That's going to hurt PlayStation because like the casuals chose PlayStation 4, and right now it looks like they chose PlayStation 5, but it's still early this generation. If Xbox can somehow switch the casuals that haven't upgraded yet to the PS5 or the Xbox Series, if they can convince them to come back to Xbox, because like you said, Noof, the 360, that was the box the casuals chose.
Mm-hmm.
The casuals chose that, and Call of Duty, that was like the thing. They marketed Call of Duty the entire Xbox 360 generation.
Call of Duty 2, man, it was one of the big launch titles. When Xbox
it was a launch
came out.
title. Yeah, and so if they can convince these casuals that's ready to upgrade, check this out. We not only have Call of Duty under us, we have it in Xbox Game Pass. If you don't want to spend $70 on the PlayStation version, you can spend $10 to $15 here, and we own them. So not only the new Call of Duties, but all of the previous Call of Duties ever created. And I know you guys saw they've recently fixed the servers, and people are playing the old Call of Duties.
Yes, I just bought the COD 4. Yeah, I'm glad you said that.
And they're all backwards compatible, so you don't have to still have your 360.
Yep.
So it's a great deal, and I think that will benefit Xbox. Absolutely.
Titan, do you think that Xbox does? They don't do any exclusive content for the Call of Duties, though, unlike where Sony was basically money-hatting like characters and DLC or all that. Do you think Xbox just everything straight up, everybody's 50-50 across the board? I think so. I think the exclusivity part for Xbox on Call of Duty is going to be the fact that if fans want to play it on Xbox, they can do it for the low monthly cost of a Game Pass subscription.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I think that's what, and they're going to market the hell out of that. They are going to make that a highlight. Play Call of Duty for just $17 or $14. You're going to see that everywhere at theaters. They are going to leverage this. They're going to want to get back that money as quick as possible. What do you think, Titan?
Yeah, and it's not just marketing for Call of Duty itself. No. It's free marketing across the board from Microsoft, because how many times have we said over the years Microsoft needs better marketing? They need they need to get out the word of like all the good things that it does have. Well, now it's got Call of Duty. And Call of Duty, they do it themselves, you know. Now that you won't Call of Duty gets hyped year after year, half of the year round. Like 6 months into every Call of Duty, we're already talking about the next Call of Duty. Anyone that's ever played Call of Duty knows what I'm talking about. Like it's a half of a year hype. And then like when it gets like to 3 months, now every half of the year that comes around, Xbox is gonna be their name's gonna be pasted right alongside that fucking unbelievably name that just is going to last through the test of time. It's done so for how many years, and that in and of itself, that's another investment in and of itself. You know, free marketing that just comes with the game, comes with the ownership of the IP. That's ridiculously huge, and try and market Xbox. You know, it's hard for me to like try to market like you market Xbox and then you market it with Call of Duty. They're just two different levels of marketing because Call of Duty carries so much weight.
You know what I found funny this month for PlayStations on PlayStation Plus? They were giving away Call of Duty Vanguard as one of the free games. And I thought, God, that's kind of weird to see that game as a freebie when in the middle of all this crap going down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, know exactly what you mean.
Hey, Mental, I'm just curious. What do you think? What do you think that former Xbox guys, Rod Ferguson and Mike Ibarra, are thinking now that they're back in the fold? Oh shit! We're back in Microsoft again.
Left for a while, and you can't stay away forever, apparently. And it's kind of funny because in the corporate world that I work in, I always say make sure you don't burn bridges when you leave. Right. And this is exactly why, because you never know when you're going to run into that guy that you burned a bridge with, and now he's your boss.
Yep.
Now, did they do that on purpose? Did Phil Spencer purposefully say, "Hey, they got an opening over here in Blizzard. You should take it. Be our little
I don't think so.
Mole in the hole, if you will."
Yeah. I don't think so. I mean, maybe that came into play when things started getting rough for Activision, and Mike's like, "Hey, Phil, you know, things are a little rough over here. You might want to make a phone call or two."
Yeah,
something could happen there, right? But I don't think he left with the intent of corporate espionage or anything like that. I think it's just really a case of
they're using some harsh words, really man. To corporate espionage.
Damn. Mike Ibarra here. Just wanted to say it's really good to be back inside of the fold at Microsoft, and I can't wait to see what happens. Thanks, guys. It's awesome. Thanks for all your love and support. It's going to be a good time.
Based on Mike's tweets, though, you get the impression that he's happy to be back.
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
The idea. Yeah.
Well, they're underneath their own umbrella. They're going to do their thing over there. Microsoft knows the talent level that those guys bring and their dedication. So I think they're just fine, and I think their roles are secured over there. Like so.
Now, if Ibarra leaves again, someone slept with his wife.
Or he heads over to Ubisoft. No, we know they're in trouble.
either Ubisoft is coming or something's going on. You know,
it goes to Sega, right? Like that's the big.
So let's go with you, Titan. Now that the dust is kind of cleared, I mean, what's your biggest takeaway from this, from the fans and from a corporate perspective? You know, where does this all go?
From a corporate perspective, I don't know about that. Like, and like you were asking about as far as the content goes for Call of Duty, that's a hard question to answer right away because that's something that I didn't really think about. I never really saw them going that route with like exclusive in-game content, but since it's something that they've practiced with PlayStation, I mean, I guess I gotta say, I guess Xbox will do something along those lines, just because I think they're used to it. You know, like this is something that I think all of the Call of Duty developers have done in the recent years. So, what is going to be exclusive though? Is it just going to be a few skins here and there? I don't know. Like that's gonna. I guess that's a better question. Like what type of content is? Because I've seen some tweets. You know, some more satire more than anything, but it showed, you know, potential Xbox exclusive skins being like the Master Chief and being like they even went crazy with some like cartoons and whatnot, like it was like Banjo Kazooie and stuff. So, That's the question for me that I'm kind of wondering. Do any of you guys have any ideas of what you'd like to see? Or
of Call of Duty mode called the Decimation of Khan. Search for Lena Khan.
Oh no, God! I was wondering where you were going with that. Yeah, Lena.
Wrath of Khan. Well, this ain't the Wrath of Khan. This is the Decimation.
Khan.
Yeah,
that's funny. Yeah. They're gonna have so many IP though.
When she got grilled. I swear it was like a nuke going off, man.
Bro.
They were even bringing up the fact
that was
she's
pretty
not
harsh.
she's not even like a certified lawyer or something. Like she did the law school.
That was
her license expired.
That was the second person that laid into her. That one dude. That's the dude was what I was referring to. You're talking about that chick that was like attacking her career. Like she wanted her out of here, Like, and that's where I kind of sat with Lena. Like, why is she still here? Like, this doesn't make any sense when you're 0-4. Like, and that was just in like a certain type of case. I think she was 0-4 in other cases as well. I saw she was 0-8 overall, but I don't know if that's true or not. But that's just what I saw. But 100% she's 0-4.
It sounds like to me like it's more of like she just sees a big target and goes after it without truly investigating what's behind it.
I think it
sounds like to me. Oh, they're the
ideological and political, right?
Right.
And when it becomes that, logic need not apply. As soon as it's a crusade, you can forget about anything else. You can't talk common sense to someone like that.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
That's just the reality. It's almost like a religion at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
But that's the way I see her anyway. She's on this crusade to stop big tech, and this was.
Let me go with you with this question. First of all, let's just get a shout out to the chat real quick because we got a lot of people rolling in. We're almost at 50 live viewers. That is amazing, guys. Thank you so much for coming in. Stinky Corpse in the building. We got Back from the Dead. Kevin Baldwin is here. Joe Dunmore hanging out with us as well. Doggy Dog is still here. We got Talis Ray. R. Rob is in the building. Audible Fart is here. I see a long time supporter, BZ McNasty, in the building. Good to see you, BZ. It's been a long time. Jesse Darby's here. Two Pad Stack, Talos Ray, the list goes on. You guys are absolutely amazing. Thanks for being here, and we hope you're enjoying the show so far. Obviously, our guest, Dirty Griggity, needs no introduction, but here he is with us. Mental, let me ask you this, my friend. We see a little bit of a rumor going around here, and there's probably nothing more than that, but do you think it's going to be a case-by-case basis of what games Microsoft may allow on PlayStation, or do you think they're only going to put Call of Duty on because there's a rumor going around that that's all they're going to get now is Call of Duty and everything else is going to be exclusive to Xbox? Which, I mean, if they want it to be sort of like vindictive, they could go ahead and do something like this, kind of to stick it to them, because obviously they were one of the big proponents of why this whole court proceeding was dragged out and had so much kerfuffle, especially in the European markets. We heard the quote that came out that what's her name, Meserve, put out there. That Jim Ryan said, "I don't care about Call of Duty. I just want this merger to be blocked." And that's a pretty big quote, right? That tells you a lot about where they're at. Like, I don't care about Call of Duty. I just want the merger to be blocked, right? Because it's Microsoft, right? Like I said before, if this was Nintendo, would anybody even care if this was Nintendo doing this crap? Probably not. But the fact that it's Xbox, they're like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Right? What do you think, Mental?
I actually do think it will be case by case to some extent, for sure. I think the fact that, if the rumor is true, and it sounds like it's been somewhat validated anyway, maybe 90%, and if they really did only just sign a deal with them for Call of Duty, that leaves the door wide open. They never actually committed to anything beyond that when they were on the stand, even though the FTC tried their best to get Phil to do that. The judge cut him off as well. I could see anything that's new, definitely, I expect would be fully exclusive, but even titles that maybe existed previously, your Crash Bandicoot and whatnot, those could potentially, new versions of that could very well be exclusive too. I wouldn't be surprised, in fact, if they weren't. There's a good audience for stuff like that, and those have the potential to bring people over to Xbox and to Game Pass especially, right? Those are the types of titles that work really well in there. I know my kids love them. It'd be great for them. I think there's going to be some seriously deep thought that will go into each and every title they release before they decide if they're going to put it on PlayStation going forward.
How huge is it going to be for Microsoft, though, to have Call of Duty games on the Nintendo Switch moving forward, or the Switch successor?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they have a big foothold in markets where Xbox does not, and they are still dominating the market. And this is something that people often forget. We all hear about the PlayStation console sold, but look at what Nintendo is doing with the least powerful console on the market. It is really doing well. Nintendo is laughing all the way to the bank. Worst infrastructure, worst online, worst everything, basically. And yet here they are just killing it because they speak to the casual market, which is obviously one of those markets that Activision has a foothold in because of their popularity with King, popularity even with Blizzard. Look at World of Warcraft. If they ever get a console version of that, my God. So what do you think? If they go to Nintendo, man, does this also change the landscape quite a bit? They do have a 10-year deal in place with them too, I do believe.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to change the landscape a lot in terms of their revenue, that's for sure.
Right?
They're just going to be making that much more to invest elsewhere. And from an Xbox fan perspective, you got to love something like that.
Maybe it'll force Nintendo to come up with the times. Hey, here's free 20% of all this. Do something with it.
Yeah. Can you actually make a real voice chat and party system for a change? We don't need a social security code to add a friend to our damn console. Come on. We need to play that pink
honestly,
money.
This deal is so big. It has the potential because it changes Microsoft's power position in gaming dramatically, right? They go from a relatively, it's an okay position, but it's not necessarily a strong position, to probably being in the strongest position in terms of negotiation than any of the other gaming companies at this point, right? And from that, what I'm getting at is I think, it's always been said, oh, Phil would love to put Game Pass on Nintendo. They'd love to put Game Pass on PlayStation. Maybe it doesn't quite go exactly the way you'd imagine Game Pass, but I could see the potential for this leading into something down the road where you have a version of PlayStation Plus that's first party only that will be on Xbox, and vice versa, a version of Game Pass that's first party only that is on PlayStation Plus. And it'll be a store where people can buy the games they want to play. Now, it might not be direct ports for every game. Maybe some of that's just cloud streaming. But I think it opens the door that if Microsoft really wants this in the future, they have the potential to push it, right? As soon as these deals start to come close to expiry, they could change the landscape dramatically.
Noob's asking the hard questions tonight, ain't it? It's not like last week when I fucking when Titan tells you something's going to happen, you can take it to the bank, man. Fucking goddamn! How much conviction did I say that this fucking deal was going through the entire fucking way since day one of this fucking whole trial shit came about? How much conviction have I had? Take Titan's word to the bank, first of all, and then second of all, like I love how. Like I tweeted that appeal out. You guys saw that appeal, right? Take it to the courts where. And I said, I've never seen anything that needs to get denied more than this. And then it did. I fucking loved it, man. I was not expecting it, but it was a great day to fucking see.
Yeah, no, that's true. But you know what, Titan, we know that Xbox has a pretty large target on their back for whatever reason. We know how people just love to hate them. So anything is possible, right? Dirt, what do you think happens to Lena Khan? Do you think perhaps that she ends up stepping aside from her position? I think people have already indicated that maybe it's time for her to step aside. And I guess also what happens in terms of the CMA now, there's still obviously a bit of a hold up there, but it looks like they might be willing to come back to the negotiations table and reevaluate this. I think CMA certainly realizes now that the FTC has been shot down, that they don't have much of a ground to stand on anymore. So, and you also got 39 other places across the world supporting Xbox. So, not looking good for those opposed. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. As far as the first question about Lena Khan, I heard that she can't be fired. She has to resign.
Good God.
Or something like that.
She's there forever.
How does she not resign after getting grilled for a whole day straight? Like, you suck, you're terrible, you're fucking terrible, you haven't won a case. Dirk, what does it take?
That's the only hard thing she's getting in her life. Court case.
Yeah, but she was. They definitely roasted her pretty bad. I was listening to it while I was at work. I was like, oh my god, whoa! They destroyed this woman.
My jaw dropped a few times.
Yeah, man. I was like, goodness. But those Republicans, they were killing her, man. So as far as the second part, as far as the CMA, FTC losing, also Sony bending the knee. That's another reason why I believe the CMA and Microsoft, they, in my opinion, they already have some type of deal or some. They worked out something. The holdup, I'm not sure. Maybe they don't want to give in too quick to make it seem like they were full of crap initially. But I like I said earlier, I really believe it's more of a win than an if the deal goes through.
It's leverage, ain't it? It's like Xbox has all the leverage now. So I wonder if Xbox is really trying to give them as little as possible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. We don't know with all right, because the date tomorrow, that's supposed to be the day. Like, what's the day where everything is supposed to happen, right?
Like the cutoff date.
The cutoff date. Yeah, well, I couldn't think of that. I was having a brain fart. The cutoff date. So most people are saying it's probably not going to happen tomorrow. So if it's going to happen in 4 to 6 weeks, that obviously means that Activision and Microsoft talked and they extended it, right? They extended the deadline. So it seems like they have a deal. In my opinion, they've talked to the CMA. I don't know what's the deal exactly, what they're going to include or what's going to be taken away. But I just feel that this is going to happen really soon, and then we can move on with our gaming lives, right? But the CMA was just being difficult, man. But they can't be difficult anymore because, like you said, Noof, when the FTC loses, Sony actually signs the deal. What can y'all say now?
Tom Warren had a Spaces. Tom Warren had a Spaces today. I don't know if any of you guys listened to
Tom Warren. I get says
essentially what I got out of it was, because after that cutoff date happens, technically Activision could ask for that $3 billion, but he said, this was interesting to me. This was the most interesting. This was what I got out of it. Basically, he said they would Activision wouldn't even take that $3 billion because they'd lose more of that in the market. They'd lose more value in the market. Wow. So that's really not even an option for, so they're just going to rework it. And then because one of the things he also said was, it's so close, right? Like even Activision knows they're at the very, they're on the last few steps of this whole thing. And it's just dotting the I's and crossing the T's and pretty much signing the paper pretty much now. And I saw someone on Twitter today, like, this thing ain't even close to done. Man, it's fucking, all right, now it's done, people. This shit is happening 100,
yeah.
There is no way you can stop it now.
Yeah, it's at the end. And it was one thing, though, that you said that made me think, damn it, I just lost my train of thought. Shit.
It was about space will make you do that sometimes. No,
it was about the. Yeah, I remember now. Now, I guess Xbox, Microsoft, I say they can they can close over the CMA, but I'm reading what some of the experts are saying they don't want to do that, because it could hurt future acquisitions, right? If they're closing over the CMA, maybe in the future people say, well, you close over the CMA, how do we know you want to do that over like with us? And it can hurt some things in the future. So Xbox can do it, but they don't want to do it. They rather come to an agreement with the CMA.
Resort.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah. And that goes on the leverage too, right? Like, hey, they could do that, they're not going to, but they could.
Yeah.
It's all leverage, man. And I love that word, and I love how it's used in situations like these, because right now Microsoft has all the leverage. Kind of things like this happen in sports, right? Like I don't know, take running backs for example. With their there's the whole hating on paying running backs. Teams don't want to do it. It's kind of a back and forth, and it's leverage. It pretty much is like, it's just it. I love situations like these. Go ahead, Mental.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I think all the speculation is that they're gonna just do a divestiture where they basically sell off the cloud business in the UK only. So that it'll be third parties that will be marketing the cloud business, and Xbox just won't have a cloud presence there, is what the speculation is. Now, maybe their infrastructure and everything still stays in place, but somebody else is managing all that for them and doing the sales and whatever else. And then, okay, well, that in theory would address the concerns the CMA has. Is the way I understand it. But
right,
it'll be interesting to see. I think you guys are right. Like, Xbox is in the power position at this point.
Yeah.
It's like they're the Borg, right? Resistance is futile. And they're coming for you. The green's no coincidence.
Yeah.
Right. But like I said, it's everybody again. It's front row and center has been Call of Duty this, Call of Duty that. But there's a lot more moving parts to this than Call of Duty. This is something that a lot of people fail to really dive into and talk about the advantages that they have by having multiple studios. Not to mention they have all these great old IPs that they could easily bring back and make a ton of money. I mean, Activision has, they have one of the dance games, don't they? They also have Tony Hawk Pro Skater. They have the Guitar Hero franchise. There's a lot more. They got Crash Bandicoot. Can you
remember True Crime? You remember that game?
True Crime.
Oh,
you remember that?
They've got a lot of great games and great studios that can still make content. And at the end of the day, Game Pass is not going to grow without a massive plethora of content. We see how fickle the games industry is, or the public is. Everybody wants bigger, badder, better, newer, faster. Like, there's just a ton of games. And you can be hot today and dead tomorrow. It's crazy with how this goes. So content is king. Netflix knows they've got to keep pumping it out, whether it's through their own internal studios or buying things to put on their service. Xbox is no different here. Game Pass is still relatively infantile. We haven't even seen the ceiling yet. We're still kind of on the floor. And obviously we're going to talk about the new tier system coming up here very shortly. So there's a lot of stuff going on here that's beyond Call of Duty, but Call of Duty is the most, again, you got to go with what's recognizable. In the PC space too, not even people even talk about World of Warcraft. Just having the instant cash revenue that WoW brings in, still to this day, it's absolutely massive. And having Xbox promoting that stuff and maybe eventually they even consider a console version, which I think would be smart if they can do it. I think it brings more players into the fold, and having more exposure in the mobile market is going to be huge, especially in the land of the rising sun, where consoles are kind of going their way out and everybody's playing on little tiny small screen cell phones and stuff. So massive amount of moving parts here that can only pay off big dividends in the long haul for them. I mean, like I said, at the end of the day, it is about making money, right? But it's also to give fans choice. And again, having the big marketing dollars and stuff up there, it's, I definitely see a big resurgence in not only console sales, but Game Pass subscriptions. I think overall, I think it's a good win. And I think, the toxic, people don't often bring up this too, but all that toxic stuff that was happening within the Activision internally, I'm sure they're trying to get that behind them right now. And hopefully Microsoft and their teams come in and bring a new work culture in, and they can get rid of some of those things and move forward with a more positive light. Let's just hope that Microsoft doesn't take over and all of a sudden Activision becomes lame and tardy, because there still has to be a foot on the throat. There still has to be, you have our money now, you have our backing and support, but it doesn't mean that you guys get to take 10 years to make one freaking game. This is the thing they got to walk the fine line, give them their freedom and their space, but still let them know, guys, we're in a business, we have to make money, and that means making games. So,
yep.
Woo! what's going on to the chat? Amazing people up here tonight. Crispy Rambo, BZ McNasty. We got Jesse Darby hanging out with us. R. Rob is still here as well. John Collins, Mitchy Poo, what's going on? Notorious is in the building tonight. We've got some great people. Any further thoughts, though, guys, from everybody here on this particular matter? Is there an avenue we haven't really explored, or do you want to talk about here before we kind of move shift topics a little bit?
I mean, I'm sure there are. I mean, if anything, we'll come back to it or whatever. But one thing is that Senator Warren, she's. I just want to point out how. Oh boy. I'm trying to be nice here. I'm going to try and be nice. I'm going to try it. Because she sent out a tweet, because I could call her a bunch of names right now, but she sent out a tweet saying, I applaud Lena Khan for continuing to press for the appeal. It's just kind of sad when hindsight, even after she says that, like the appeal, like they're like, no, this isn't even, we're not even doing this. The appeal gets shut down. How bad does that make you look, And how do you even make that call knowing obviously nothing about the industry? I think that's the part that gets me the most frustrated, because I've called it out, probably 3 different people on Twitter that are supporting that supported the appeal and hated against Microsoft and wanted this thing to get blocked. First off, why? Second off, you obviously, and then this other dude, I even called him out on all his misinformation that he tweeted about, and he's trying to use all these intellectual words and jargon to try and get people to make him think he's intelligent and that he knows about the topic, when he's actually, screw you, Spider-Man, when he's actually clueless. Like, if you have any idea what's going on in the industry and what's going on.
Titan, half of the people that are against probably this deal, I'm sure, are probably the same kind of politicians that firmly believe that video games are the sole responsibility for all the violence and school shootings in America.
I thought you were going to say our PlayStation fanboy. Like, man, Senator Warren's a fanboy.
I think it's that mentality. Like, a lot of these people that oppose this stuff are people that they're just not into gaming. They have no idea what's going on. They don't follow gaming. They don't really know how this works. They just, again, it's a big corporation trying to buy another big entity. And and I'll be right back there, guys. My cats are destroying something, so I'll be right back.
Oh.
Griggity and Mental, if you were a politician, like, how...
I'm hearing shit again.
No, mute yourself.
He forgot to press mute.
He just set his headset down.
Yeah, he forgot to press mute.
If you guys are a politician, like, what would possibly make you guys want to talk about something where you're just blatantly clueless about the topic? Saying someone is applauding someone for, like, put yourself in that position. First of all, like, how embarrassed would you be if you said, I applaud Lena Khan for this. She did a good job on this because she's fighting, and trying to push it and fight for this appeal. Mental, start with you.
That's where that blind ideology comes in again, right? Like, they're just sitting there, going through their little cult-like religion, and the religion is big tech bad, and we got to prevent these mergers, and industry consolidation's bad. It's not always bad. I'm not a huge fan of it, but the company I work for, we acquire different companies, on a fairly regular basis. It's just something that happens in the corporate world. If someone develops a technology and you want it, you can afford to buy it. You generally do. It's tough to develop new ideas in this world we live in today. So if there's something that's really, unique, as Jim Ryan would like you to believe it is in Call of Duty, and you can't, you're going to go out and buy it, right?
I'm glad you said that, because that was one of the other. That was one of the other things that they said. You could throw this into your mix if you want, but some other guy was tweeting. I'll bring up his name later on, but he was saying that Activision has not just Call of Duty, but he went on to say they have, quote, all these other unreproducible IPs. And I had to call him out on that. I asked him which ones. Like, what ones do you even think he's talking about? What cannot be reproduced in the game industry these days?
I think maybe he meant something like Guitar Hero, like they wouldn't make peripherals like that now. I don't know. Only thing I could think of, maybe they won't make those guitars or the drum set for the whole. I don't know. Right. That's the only thing I could think of, because you can make everything else.
And I love how the fact that that's what you got to point out, the vagueness that people talk with too, because that leads to misinformation. When people are really vague about something and they have a strong opinion on it, it's like that's just like something stinks, and you got to call them out.
Yeah.
All right.
What do you think, Mental?
Call them out as much as you want, Titan. No, it's like I say, I if I was a politician, I wouldn't be piping off on anything unless I knew exactly what I was talking about. I want to make sure I had my facts straight and the research was done, because I'm not a fan of looking like an idiot anyway.
And apparently people are
at the best of times. So, you talk to anybody I work with, if I'm not certain about something, I'll make very clear that I'm not 100% certain about something.
Right.
It can be a cutthroat industry in the tech world, and you don't want to come across looking like an idiot if you can avoid it. And I mean, Lord knows I look like an idiot enough, so I don't need to add anything else to it. So I always do my homework.
Yeah, you got to, man. I don't speak on stuff I don't know about, man. Yeah. Don't ask me. I'm not sure about that.
I wish more people would do that. Like, if you don't know about something, just keep your mouth fucking shut. How hard is that?
Right.
Too many armchair experts in the world these days.
And that's something this ABK deal has really exposed. So many guys, I've seen some guys act like, go after guys that's lawyers or they're familiar with the field, know law. I don't know none of that stuff. I don't pretend to. I'm just listening and trying to learn some stuff. But I've seen some of these PlayStation fanboys go after these people.
Well,
he's
it's the same thing as with game development, right? A lot of us, and I'm not going to sit here and act like all innocent. I mean, I've criticized developers before, but a lot of people in this community act like they know as much as the devs.
Yeah, which is
that we all have these degrees in computer science and graphics and stuff, and and when you sit down and think about it, you think these multi-million-dollar developers. They got so much technology and it changes constantly that they constantly have to refresh and rebuild new engines and build new games and try to come up with, fresh new IPs and the whole 9 yards. And we act here sitting here a lot of time, we're criticizing, and we're all act like experts. Well, we know exactly what's going on over there. And it's just like, no, we don't. There's a lot that goes on behind closed doors. And if you watch some of those documentaries on gaming, it's amazingly sophisticated. How many moving parts do they have within an entire unit? And you're talking about studios with hundreds of people that all have to somehow put all these puzzle pieces together in the right time. It's daunting. And games these days are certainly more and more complex all the time, because you talk about frame rates and resolution and textures and shadows and lighting. And we keep pushing because we want more realistic games. We want games to be bigger, to look more realistic, to run better. This puts a lot of pressure on there. So, I think we're all guilty of it, acting like armchair athletes, that we all know what's going on. I mean, yes, it's not hard to tell sometimes that there are problems at certain developers just by the amount of, people that leave and the stuff that gets put out there, that not every developer runs like a fine-tuned machine. Insomniac, for example, I think is running pretty well, because they throughout even COVID, they managed to put out a bunch of games. Even if you want to call them DLC add-ons, that's okay. But the fact that Insomniac still manages to deliver quality is a testament to them, and a lot of people could use a few more Insomniacs in this world right now. But anyway, I'm getting off topic.
To understand the industry too, you got to put the time in. Like, think about all the time you, me, Dirt, Mental's new to the podcast scene, but still, think about all the time that we put in through all the podcasts, talking about all these subjects, about even when I started back in 2017, with and like listening to Dealer Gaming, you know, and like I learned so much tech from him, and now you know, now we got Mental on our panel, you know, we're learning from him weekly, you know, like these are the things, you know, that you can, this is a way of learning, you know, you bring people with expertise and with experience, and you share stories, and you link up with all these different people from the community, man. Think about all the different people that we podcast with, that we tweeted about, you know, and talk to. It's pretty amazing. It really is.
Well, you know, honestly, when it boils down to it, the FTC's case was kind of like saying, well, a man shouldn't have a penis, because if you have a penis, you want to fuck everything and you will eventually get somebody pregnant. That is pretty much kind of the way the FTC was looking at Microsoft. Oh, you're going to buy them? That means you're going to pull everything off the competition. You're going to dominate the market. So, you know, Microsoft might be swinging the big dick, but that doesn't mean they're out here impregnating the industry. You know what I mean?
Strange way to say it, but I followed it.
That's a weird new Fanukum analogy, but I think people were getting it.
I don't know what's scarier, their Noof's explanation or the fact you followed it, Titan.
I know, right?
He's been on more than one show with this lunatic, so yeah.
It's really the Noof dictionary. You got to kind of, you know, learn some of the way he links things together.
Wow, you know, they say, I put the dick in dictionary.
Oh.
All right, let's move it along, because we don't want the show to run too long, guys. Hope you're enjoying what you see so far. Again, hit that like, comment, and subscribe. Share this out. Jim Ryan is in the chat. Oh, he comes in with the eyeballs blazing. Well, we're sorry, Jim Ryan, man. You guys will just be you'll be just fine. Don't worry. Without, you know, all the rest of the stuff, you guys are doing just fine there. So don't worry. Let's talk about this new tiered system that kind of got leaked, and now it is sort of public knowledge that comes September. Xbox Live, as we know it, Xbox Live Gold, I guess we should say, as we know it, is now being put to bed and being absolved into a 4-tier system. For those of you who don't know, we have the core, the console, PC Game Pass Ultimate, and then Xbox Ultimate. Looks like $9.99 for the Xbox Core. That basically gives you 25 select games with Xbox, as well as the inclusion of online multiplayer to party chats and stuff. Basically, it's kind of like the current Gold system as you know it, without the hideous and insulting weird little free games they try to give us each and every month. I think, like you said on your podcast, Dirt, it was getting embarrassingly bad. So, you know, it's about the time they kind of almost, you know, got rid of it. We saw that writing on the wall. Yeah. The one that kind of doesn't make a lot of sense here is they call it the console Game Pass. So that goes up by like $1, but it takes away the multiplayer, still gives you the 25 free games, and it gives you access to the day and date games and all the Game Pass games. So basically Game Pass without the multiplayer, which is kind of odd. Then the PC one is self-explanatory, and then Xbox Live Ultimate, which is what most of us are using today, self-explanatory. Now, I was listening to Colt and Mag and them, and they were saying it would make more sense if the console, the second-tiered one, or perhaps the original one, the core, would just be like the online multiplayer kind of deal, and that the console one would have like would add for the extra $1, would still add the multiplayer and maybe all those games, but not have the Xbox Game Pass games. I don't know. How do you guys feel about this tiered system? And again, and I guess since we're going down memory lane here as well, think of one of your first experiences with Xbox Live and the Gold itself, and what you'll kind of miss, or what do you remember most about that?
Before we get into this, Jim Ryan says in the chat, he says, remind me, did the ABK merger close today? And I'll tell you what closed today, Jim. It's the fucking failed chapter in your career titled, I Just Want to Block Your Merger. That's what fucking closed, buddy.
Max City Entertainment, what's up, man? Good to see you here. Spider-Man still with the Kevin Baldwin. Yes, good to see you guys. Awesome. All right, so let's get into it, Dirt. How about yourself, man? What do you think of these tiers? How would you like the structure, the price ranges? Is it about time they killed Gold?
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with it. I feel the console option is useless. Just my opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, options are good. You know, options are good. I can't complain about it. Because games with Gold was, oh man, it's been bad for years now. Like, at first, they were putting some decent games in there. Then slowly but surely, after Xbox Game Pass came out, the games got worse and worse. to the point. What game is this? I've never heard of this game. What the hell is this game? So it was getting pretty bad.
Yeah.
But I think it's pretty cool. Like I said, with the exception of the console tier, they can get rid of that. That's just a waste. But I'm an Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscriber, so nothing changes for me. I guess some tiers just doesn't really change anything. Like besides the name, but there's some more options I'm fine. I'm always fine with options.
But doesn't this essentially make the core or the Xbox Live Gold equivalent more expensive now at $9.99 US? I'm assuming that's probably going to be about $12.99 a month Canadian. And up here in Canada, I was normally buying the Xbox Live Gold under like the cards at $59.99 a month. So it's actually jumped up in price, which in turn
the price stays the same. Unless
sound like it.
Yeah, I think it month by month. I think
it's the same.
Gold was $9.99 in the US anyway, Noof. So
okay, so yeah. But the question is, will they still give you an option as they walk into a store and buy a Game Pass Core card, or will you have to just have to be on the monthly month to month? Is an interesting question. I mean, I'm in the Ultimate ecosystem right now anyway, and as Dirt said, the other ones almost don't make sense, especially that console tier. It's like, why would you want that? Honestly, I just pay the extra couple bucks and get everything.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think that's what they're going for, is that they want to make the Ultimate look way more attractive. So what you do is you make, you put a batch of lipstick on the ugly kid and hopefully somebody avoids it.
So
exactly.
The console tier though, does that includes the online play, right?
Mm-hmm. No, the console doesn't.
Oh, the console tier, no.
The core tier has online. They took it out for the console tier, which is $1 more, which is kind of weird.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, the console tier is
screwed up.
Yeah,
that's really screwed up. I just assumed that the lower tier, the higher tiers, in theory, would include everything the lower tiers do.
Yeah, they traded off the games, right? They gave you on the console tier, they're giving you the games, but taking away the multiplayer, which is kind of odd.
They got to get rid of the online charge. That's just stupid in this day and age. I mean, especially since online's free on PC. Get rid of it.
They ain't never getting rid of that.
Time.
It's time they supposed to get rid of that? I feel like that was about a year ago. That was like
there was some discussion, but I can't see it. I mean, PC. I mean, listen, PC is. I don't know, man. They just get to do stuff that they have perks us console guys don't. So that's why I mean PC. I've dealt with that for years.
He's PC, this guy's smart man.
Yeah. But for the record, I do have Ultimate, but so I am paying for that. But it's ridiculous. They do need to balance that and level that playing field. They got to get rid of that charge, and hopefully they will once Game Pass numbers are high enough that they feel it's successful enough to be able to do it. But there's really no excuse for it at this point in the game, in my opinion. If you can afford to let,
did you see that, chat? Before factions comes out. That's true.
Funny. That's funny.
There you go.
That's funny.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, to me anyway, get rid of the online charge. It's an antiquated idea, and it's time they ditch it, especially when they're giving everything to PC at the same time. You got to start balancing that out a bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What's going on, Lady Foxfire? Good to see you in the house.
Lady Foxfire, how you doing?
We go back way back when, me and her. Good to see you, Lady Foxfire.
I remember you guys being on those podcasts.
Oh yeah,
like the people flip.
GKB and She Wolf, yeah.
Oh, I remember them. What was the name of their podcast?
That was
GKB. Yeah, was it GKB?
GKB was the host.
What's the name of the podcast? What was the name of the show?
I'm trying.
I don't remember the name of the show, but yeah, I definitely remember that.
Console Corner.
Console Corner. Yep.
Great little podcast. Too bad it went down the pooper.
They quit, never came back.
They came back once. I wasn't on the second iteration, and then it just kind of fizzled. Yeah, but shout out to
they actually had
Corner.
a second.
Yeah, like after I left the first time there, like when I left the podcast for whatever reason, they took a hiatus, and that was after when Florida had all those like it was kind of on hiatus after all those storms they had, all those hurricanes and stuff.
Right.
And then they tried to bring it back, but then I was gone, and then I think GKB and his wife were going through some issues too, so everything just kind of went to shit. So yeah.
What was his wife's name?
She-Wolf.
She-Wolf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she moved back to Canada, so.
Oh, damn.
Well, but anyway, it was a great little podcast. I have very fond memories of it, and as do a lot of people. So yeah, shout out to them. Factions is confirmed to release alongside Scalebound.
Kevin Ball, you crazy, man.
Oh man, all right.
Factions is free cheese jokes right now, man.
Right. Hey, Salt Wagon, what's going on, bro? What's happening? Salt Wagon.
Noof, I'm just wondering, like, how long have we actually asked them to get rid of games with gold? We've been asking for that for a while right now, because it was like, it's strange that we wanted them to get rid of something that, that they give away for free, but like it was that bad. I feel like that thing actually had gave a negative value to the brand. Like,
remember when Games with Gold tried to jack up the price and everybody went live on the podcast, so we were just like, holy hell. Like it was writing on the wall though, right? I mean, obviously it's something you could feel that Microsoft wanted to wash their hands of. They wanted to go with a better tier system. I mean, they obviously feel, and the fans feel, that the best value and the way to go is with Game Pass, especially if you got Ultimate. I mean, the fact that you get all those games, you get the day and date releases, you got the online multiplayer, you get everything that Gold's always had, and then some. And not to mention the fact that you can even play like your games on your cell phone and stuff via the cloud, and all that sort of great stuff. I think it's amazing. It's a great service. There's no question about it. It's one of the best values in gaming. And I know I was a stalwart sort of proponent against it for years, and I'm still not sort of a fan to a certain degree, but I don't want to go on to a tangent. I mean, we all know where because I'm still like primarily like a physical buyer. I still like to go to the store and pick up a copy of a game, even though I know they're just DMR disc. But anyway, at the end of the day, it's just amazing value, and there's always something to play. And I mean, any parent in the world, I mean, why would you not want to go with hundreds of games at your kid's disposable for $15 a month, as opposed to $80 and $90 up here in Canada? Games are skyrocketing in price. Mental knows that everything's going up here. So like Game Pass keeps looking like better and better value each and every day. And even if they jack it up $1 or $2, it's not the end of the freaking world. I mean, that's less than a freaking McDouble burger at fucking McDonald's. You know what I mean?
McDouble, yeah.
So you know what I mean? So like, let's not talk about increase in prices too much and slay them for it, but considering that everybody else in the world has put everything up indeed. You know what I mean? I mean, the only thing that went up and they didn't charge extra for it was an erection after a Viagra pill. You know what I mean? All right. Well,
super chats.
Yeah, we got some super chats coming in. Yeah, let's get right to them. All right, we got the first one coming in. Various long-time supporter DJ Birdo Jaws. He drops $2. Go ahead, Titan.
Man, been a while. DJ, $2. Boom, boom, kaboom. Dirt, you TTSing over here. What? Dirt, can you explain that to me?
Talking that shit. No, man, I'm just chilling, man. It's just talking. Gaming.
Dirt seems a little more subdued over here tonight than he normally gets over on his channel.
Yeah, I mean, we listen, man. I don't like to go crazy on other people's podcasts, man. I'm more reserved on other people's podcasts.
This podcast.
Oh well, this is the one not to do that
people, on. Dirt. This is where all
the place you can let loose.
Out over here.
Yeah.
That's why I'm here.
Who's this guy leaving a $5 shooter? He looks familiar. Mental 9R. $5 Canadian. That's worth like all of 25 cents. Go ahead there, Titan.
There, as a bought and paid for YouTuber, be honest. How big are the Microsoft paychecks, buddy?
All right, man. It's 6,000 every 2 weeks. So I got it.
Not bad.
There you go. There you go. When you're a newcomer to the brand, don't accept anything less.
That would be incredible. That would be a great living.
You can afford all those haircuts now with Microsoft money.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah. Go through a lot of razors, and they're nice and shiny.
That's funny.
Run razor and a can of Barbasol, and you're ready to go. Jesse Dabby, what's going on? All right, guys. Any further thoughts on this whole? I mean, it's not like a huge topic. We kind of saw the writing on the wall. They got their tiers. Maybe it gets restructured eventually. Obviously, like I said, I think you're either going to end up in the console tier the core tier, or you're probably just going to jump right into Ultimate. Because honestly, I guess the console tier works really good for those who don't play online. So I do get that. You want to save $5 or $6 a month, and you just want all those games, but you don't play the online multiplayer shit, which there are a lot of people out there who don't. I definitely get it. But technically, you'd almost think that would be the starting tier. And then it would go the opposite way. It's kind of like,
The thing that bothers me about that, though, too, Noof, is the fact that there's a lot of games that are single player now that require you to connect online to do it. Now, is that looked after as part of that?
That's just an online. You're still part of the Game Pass, so that's not going to change. You're still going to be able to log in online.
Yeah. Okay.
That nothing really changes. It's just you won't be able to do the multiplayer and stuff like that. I'm assuming you can still jump in. I would assume you can still jump into. I would assume that like Xbox Live, like the party chat system, I would assume that that's still activated because that would be kind of.
I think that's true. That was all part of Silver anyway.
But that would mean if you wanted to play Diablo with your friends, for example, I'm guessing that you would need to have the Ultimate tier or go back to the basic tier.
Yeah, and that step backwards, again, it just seems weird to me. That's the first time I've seen a tiered system where the lower tiers have, things that the upper tiers don't, but whatever. Yeah,
it usually goes in steps. They don't give you one thing and take out the other. That's kind of weird. That's like, hey, you're going to get a chocolate sundae at the first tier, and on the second tier, you get the chocolate sundae, but we're taking away the chocolate.
Yeah.
It's just a vanilla cone, but we call it a chocolate sundae.
Yeah, that's funny. That's funny, man.
Yeah. No, that's kind of what you got. And then it's like, what? You can have the ultimate chocolate sundae with the nuts and everything included. That's on the ultimate. Take it all. All right.
Yeah, that's weird. Anyway.
Yeah, so at the end of the day, the tiers are fine, but that one console tier, they need to get rid of that shit. It's a waste.
Yeah, absolutely. Or just the ultimate altogether. If you want it or you don't. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. But like I said, or just make the online free and then just everything else be a charge. So, which should be cool.
That's where they need to go.
Well, that's what Colton was saying too. They said like it's time that Xbox, especially being sort of the third console in like the race of consoles, essentially, like to boost console sales, especially when you get the marketing rights for Call of Duty, is just to give the online free. And then you get way more people into your ecosystem. A lot of people would start to see even more value in buying an Xbox because, like, say if you're a PlayStation guy who primarily plays Call of Duty, but you don't really want to buy an Xbox and then have to pay for Xbox Live Ultimate. You're just playing Call of Duty. Well, what do you think is going to happen? If they took out the paywall and you said, well, you can play your Call of Duty to your heart's content for free, but now you can, that sort of thing, go over and buy an Xbox. Like it'd be, because then you'd still have to pay for online on the PlayStation. You see what I mean? So then you'd be playing Call of Duty for free on an Xbox.
I gotta sing a song based upon your shirt, Noob. Yeah, they tried to stop the merger. Oh yeah.
Jim Ryan is down in a hole and losing his soul.
Oh man,
Xbox will never die.
Oh jeez.
Titan, that sounds pretty good, Titan.
No, I did it last week. But last week's one was better. This week I got the alcohol and I can't hold a note. But
alrighty.
You missed the one last week, Dirk. That last week one was really good. Spider-Man hated it.
Oh man.
Yeah, he had a good little song going last week. Chris Rambo, what's going on? Yeah. All right, guys. Any further thoughts on any of this stuff or any other topics that you'd like to bring up before we kind of get ready to wrap the show?
All I know is a great time to be an Xbox fan. Noof,
absolutely, brother.
There was some rough years being an Xbox fan. And when I first started my channel doing consistent content in 2017, that was a really rough year. And
no doubt.
Like I said, for them to have 5 studios in 2017 to be where they are now, and the future is looking incredible.
Yeah,
I think
it's kind of funny, right? Because you look at Xbox, you look at the Xbox 360 generation aside, we know the Xbox One had the rough start, right? And it kind of struggled to get off the ground. But then by 2015, it was starting to pick up speed. Remember when the Halo 4 dropped? We had Tomb Raider. I think it was Rise of the Tomb
Halo
Raider.
5.
It was Gears. Was it Halo 5?
Yeah,
Halo 5, Rise of the Tomb Raider. It was Gears 4. Like, there was a lot of games, and that was like the pinnacle height of Xbox. And then on top of that, they didn't have to, but they went out because they wanted to keep this hardcore fans invested, and they gave us the amazing Xbox One X. Like,
great console.
Years later. Right,
Yeah.
Great console. Gave us the S, a revamped, much more efficient, streamlined console. Like, they were starting to do things right, and they almost had every part of the Xbox One equation was almost perfectly done, but except the games somehow.
Then the
just
games
dropped
fell off. After 2016, the games fell off.
Yeah.
And we had everything but the games.
Yeah.
That was the weird part. It was like
Yeah.
we got the console, great controller, everything was going right, except now we just don't have games. And we kept seeing all these great releases. We see all these studios added. And that was making even more frustration because you're like, man, look at all this,
rough.
look at all this stuff coming. We got all these people, but now where is the games?
You want to know something crazy? At the end of the Xbox One generation, we were talking about the series consoles, which we didn't know what that was called when it was coming out. But before then, I was talking to dealer. I was like, man, because you brought up the controller. I was like, they don't really need to change the controller. I feel like the controller's like perfect, man. They don't really need to do it. And he's like, they always do it. And I'm like, I don't think they're going to. I think there's so many positives about the controller right now. I think like. They're basically going to keep it the same. And what did they do? They added a freaking one
Share
button to the that's all they added.
Yeah.
And I fucking love the fact.
Hey, you know what, Titan? Like, you know what I'm noticing? Keep it simple when it comes to the controller.
Yeah.
PlayStation DualSense, right? It's cool. The only game that truly utilized that controller was Astrobot. Was Astrobot? What's the name of that damn game?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
That's
that's
right.
And was it
it was
worth
really
the
cool.
sacrifice of the battery life?
No, it was cool, right? If every game used it like Astrobot used it, that would be worth it. But even with the PS4 controller, there were a couple of decent things. I loved like the little speaker on the controller, things like that. Nobody really used it. These third-party developers, they don't want to do any extra work, bro. That's why they hate the Xbox Series S, probably, because it's extra work.
Mm-hmm.
Just keep it simple.
You know, there's a problem with your battery when your wife's dildo lasts 4 times longer.
Ouch. Ouch.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
You've tested it.
When I was running. Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry. No, you're good.
Oh no,
Go
I
ahead.
was going to say
You're
one
the
more
guest.
thing. But my point is, Titan, you're right. Just keep it simple. We just want a controller that feels good in our hand. And with rumble, I do like the triggers vibrating. But I mean, don't get me wrong. There were some cool things about that, the DualSense with Astrobot. But that's the only game. I
heard actually a lot of people complaining about that adaptive triggers when
the
it comes
triggers
to
are
games
terrible,
like Call
bro.
of Duty.
Now the
Like
haptic feedbacks are pretty cool, but the triggers are terrible. Why
I've seen
am I pressing this and it's not? I don't know. I don't want it to be that realistic. Now, I want to play a video game.
When you're playing competitive ranked Call of Duty, you don't want the controller fighting against you as well.
Yeah, it's on a case-by-case basis because I love the controller. And hands down, I think it's PlayStation's finest controller after all these years. They virtually got it right. I mean, I still will take the, the asymmetrical layout of the Xbox thumbsticks. That always feels better. But, I mean, this is legitimately PlayStation's best controller, hands down, in my opinion. And, I mean, I do love some of the cool features. I like the fact they've always had the microphone built in. Like, you're playing certain games, you can literally, hear, the chatter coming through the mic. And they got rid of that big flashy light from the PS4, which was kind of distracting. Sometimes you see it in your freaking television set. You're like, oh, the cops are coming! They did stuff. They definitely did stuff right. You're absolutely right. That first game really utilized it. And, of course, they wanted to make sure that did. But that's it. That's the problem. Outside of Sony's first-party software, a lot of the third-party companies are they'll make mild use of it, like even in Harry Potter, right? Like they have it activated in that game, and I'm playing it on PS5, and like when you're casting certain spells, there's like a force feedback to it. You know what I mean? Like you're holding in for more power and stuff like that. Like there's little things, and it adds a little element to it, but sometimes it's also distracting. Like, I can't do the whole force feedback stuff with the Call of Duty because the last thing I want to do is trying to shoot straight, and the gun's got enough recoil in the game itself without my damn controller recoiling too. And I'm like,
Yo, let's get a
when
round
I'm
of
playing
jokes
shooters-
about the PlayStation controller real quick. I'll start off. When Doggy Dog 420 can last longer under the sheets than your controller, we got a problem. Let me hear some more in the chat. What do you got? Jokes on the PlayStation 4 battery, PlayStation controller battery life. Go ahead, Mental.
I was just gonna say, like when I'm playing first-person shooters and it's PvP mode, I shut off all vibration. I don't need the distractions, right? The visuals on the screen are enough. I don't need to have the controller vibrating when I'm getting shot. But that's probably because I'm, my origins are in PC gaming and my mouse doesn't vibrate, neither does my keyboard, and I wouldn't want them to, right? So for me, it's I don't like it. I shut that stuff off typically. I do have a couple of PlayStation 5 controllers. I don't have a PS5, but I have used them with Spider-Man and whatnot on PC. And I wanted to see what it was like and the gimmicky aspect of it, and inevitably I turned it off.
There you go. That's the test of time test right there. Will they come out with a rumbling keyboard and mouse?
My wife keeps wondering why when I'm playing with her nipples, I kind of do it funny. It's because I'm used to doing the lock picking thing on the PlayStation Touchpad.
Oh boy.
I didn't unlock it. Damn, let me try again.
Inside voice, Noof. Inside voice.
Oh man.
Joe Dunmore said you blow the controller, but it doesn't blow you back. That's a one-way relationship. That's not cool.
Hey, that could be huge dividends for Sony if they actually did that. They bought Pornhub. They'd be making money up to hand over fist. They just make it. They put it right on the PSVR 2
Put
dashboard.
it in their,
Just
add it to their PS Plus Premium.
Yeah, we're gonna get into fleshlight attachments here soon.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Alrighty, well, we're just about ready to close the show. We got the girls in the chat blushing over there. Curry Cosmos, what's going on? Hope you're doing okay there. Amazing chat as always tonight. Incredible guests. We're getting ready to close the show, but before we go, it's up to you, chat. Who you guys want to hear tonight? Obviously, we normally at this point in time we bring in one of the special guests, and that is either Arnold, Cletus, Safe House, or Handy Andy. We will bring in Handy Andy very quickly, and then we'll have some questions for anybody else that you like. So get them ready right now. I'm going to pull aside Mr. Andy and get him over here. Just 1 second here, guys. You guys keep talking.
All right. So while he's doing that in the chat, type in your questions. I will try to see them all. Nothing's guaranteed. Sorry, Splendiferous. Although I don't see you here tonight, Splen. I screwed him over on some questions, but it happens. There's the blackboard. Here's the blackboard. Here we go.
You there, Handy?
Yeah, I'm here. What the fuck is going on with the green screen? Really disappeared into the green screen. Noob, get the fuck out of the camera. Yeah, can't even. Look. Yeah, just like Sony disappearing. Yeah, look at that, guys. What the fuck is wrong with the green screen this time? You got a better computer? Your damn shit don't work? What the fuck? God damn it. Anyway, Andy, first of all, I want to say this is amazing, and it's really good to have Dirty Griggity here tonight. Jesus, all we need is one more black guy at the top of the fucking screen, and we can have an Oreo podcast. Let's go! Now, all jokes aside, it's really good to be here, guys. You guys are fantastic. Dirt, you're amazing. I love We Bleed Green. It's awesome. You got some really cool cats over there. It's awesome. And I'm glad you could join me in that because you've got a lot of weirdos on this cast. So it's finally nice to have a guy who is, shoots straight from the hip. Let's go. Anyway, guys, you're awesome. You got any questions for Handy Andy? And I'll try my best to answer them for you.
Fucking Spider-Man. All right, Spider-Man.
Fight again. Spider-Man, he just talks about, I think he puts Smite in the comments like 10 times.
Why does Smite suck, Andy?
Smite sucks simply because Titan Drago's probably the only guy on the planet who plays it consistently. Who wants to be on his team anyway? All I can hear is just like, he's quiet for like 2 seconds and then, Yeah, anybody else got a question? Yeah, look at me, clap my hands, clap my hands, clap my hands.
Never even played with you.
Are you still with us, Michael? Are you still with us? You look like you've zoned out.
No, I am still here. Trying to think of a good question for you, Andy.
How soon will Xbox have a Call of Duty Game Pass Super Bowl ad?
I say it's coming up like really, really soon. I mean, Xbox, they got big balls and they like to play with their balls and they like to put money where there's games that have balls. So it makes perfectly sense. So you're going to see lots of Xbox shit on the Super Bowl.
Cyber Gunter says, you look like Robert Pattinson from Twilight. He says you need more sun, Andy.
Yeah, I definitely do need a little bit more sun. I should get out a little bit more often, but you know what? That's okay. My teeth are yellow. Yeah. Okay, anyway, my time is almost done. I got one more time for one more question because Noose hand up my ass really starts to hurt after like 30 or 40 seconds.
All right, last one, Doggy Dog. Handy Andy. What would you say to Jim Ryan if you met him?
I say, Jim Ryan, I'm sorry that you were born and you live a miserable life and you've got to defend Sony at every turn. I really liked your last bosses a lot better. At least they had charisma. You're like an old English teabag. Like, honest to God, it's time for somebody to drown you at the bottom of a cup, you dirty old bastard. Seriously, man, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, just get with the times. You're so behind the schedule. Like, you know, it's either sometimes you just got to give head to get ahead. I don't think you've been giving any head or getting any head. I don't know with you, man. Seriously, you old crusty cunt.
Oh my God. Dirt wants to know if you have a girlfriend, and Mitchy Poo says, have you ever tasted Jim Ryan's toenails? I heard they're amazing.
What the hell?
Jim Ryan's toenails probably taste like Jeff Keighley's ass.
Oh, goodness.
I'm pretty sure he's had his foot up their ass for years.
Andy's out of control, man.
Yeah, we gotta put Andy away. We gotta put Andy away. Yeah, he's a little bit mental, that guy.
Andy's out of
I
control.
think that was Andy's best showing yet.
It takes him a little while. He's got to warm up. He's not used to this crowd over here.
Kevin, I don't know about the puppet show, to be honest.
Princess all over the puke. We have any questions for any of the other crowd real quick before we get out of here? Arnold, Cletus, or Safe House? Now is the time. We can pick one or the other. One or two more questions, and then we got to roll.
I'm gonna give you guys 15 seconds or so, man, because I know there's a few fans. I know there's a few people in the chat.
Dirt said, "Are you related to the Dreamcast guy?" Yeah, he kind of reminds me of him. That's for sure. I think they are related somewhere.
Oh, man.
We'll have to ask him a question on a future show. And he wants a toothbrush.
I tell you, my disdain for the Dreamcast guy is up there with the crap gamer when he was doing all the clickbait back in the day.
Yeah, guys.
The guy's playing the game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Game I hate. That's right. And it ain't game he playing is not Smite. Let me tell you.
Yeah, I just really hope he's not as dumb as he comes across. But
well, let's just sit there.
I don't think so. I think it's just a role he's playing.
There's fanboys that talk like fanboyism, but then there's fanboys that just like you can't even take anything they say seriously because like the stuff that comes out of their mouth is just too stupid. You're like, are you really that dumb?
Yeah.
And it's like, so say you are selling out to be, whatever brand you're talking about, because I know what you're saying, but so are you like, you're actually sacrificing your like dignity for that? You know what I mean? Like it's so strange to me.
I guess
not worth.
I guess it depends how much you value money, and maybe he's making a good coin off it, right? I don't know what his views are like, but if it's jumping up a lot and he's seeing that paycheck, maybe he doesn't care.
Yeah. We got a question coming in from Jesse Darby. It comes into one of his favorites. Go ahead, Titan.
Jesse Darby. Cletus. I knew he'd come up with one with Cletus. Cletus, what do you think Jim Ryan's doing right now?
Well, he's really Cletus here. It's good to see everybody. It's especially good to have Dirty Griggity on the show with all you sexy mofos in here. But anyway, to answer that question from the one and only Jesse Darby, seriously, this is exactly what Jim Ryan's doing. Right now, he's got Lena Khan bent over a bedpost, and he's giving it to her, and he's saying, Lena, he said, lie to me, baby, because I heard that when I fuck you and you lie, your nose is going to grow, and that's why it's so big in the first place. Stop telling lies and get with the flies. Jim Ryan, that's what he's doing. He's He ain't counting money, baby. He looking at sheets of paper and he crying over there. That's what he doing.
All right, last question.
Yeah.
Any more?
I'm not seeing any more.
I'm not seeing any in the chat. Sorry, you had your chances. You had like 2 or 3 minutes to come up with one. So we're going to close this show down, everybody. It was a phenomenal podcast tonight. Thank you so much for everybody coming out. I think we might have had a record viewership at only our 7 podcasts in, but we will continue to keep on going and hopefully growing. Obviously, to an incredible panel, to the chat, you guys are fantastic. To everybody, I hope that I managed to give you a shout out. Again, you are important. I know it's tough to shout out everybody when shows get to a certain magnitude, but as long as we stay small, we will try to acknowledge you all because you are definitely valuable to me and everybody here. Again, to all the supporters that came out from the We Bleed Green podcast to see Dirt, we're glad you could show up and hang out a little bit longer and catch his take over here with us crazy guys. So let's let our phenomenal guest get out of here. I know he's probably tired now and wants to get on to better things, get away from us nut jobs.
He wants to play Smite.
He probably wants to play Smite. Dirt, let people know where they can find you. And obviously, again, popular podcast down here for those who are not initiated.
Yeah, man. Thanks for the invite, guys. I had a good time. It was a pleasure to meet Handy Andy. I never met him before. Great guy.
You don't gotta lie.
No, he's a great guy, man. I like his yellow teeth and his acne. He's a great guy, man. That's why I said, damn, is he really related to Dreamcast guy with yellow teeth and acne? Holy shit.
He just needs a little goatee hairs, or that's what he needs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, yeah, man. But thank you guys. Had a good time. Yeah, check out my channel. Let me put it in the chat for those that don't know. Good old Dirty Griggity. I do console war banter. Sorry if you're not into that style of podcast, but I have fun with that. Mine's not.
Yeah, you guys have fun.
We have fun.
Yeah.
We have fun. There are some console warriors out here that take stuff a little too far, and they're get angry and want to fight people. I'm just having fun, right? So that's about it, man.
Fantastic. Go give him a follow, subscribe to his channel if you're not already. I guarantee you won't regret it, especially if you happen to be an Xbox fan. There's a lot of fun to be had on the We Bleed Green podcast.
Oh yeah. Like PlayStation fans, they ain't welcome.
you can go there if you dare, but you may not like what you hear.
Yeah, you better not say
there it
that.
is in the chat.
That's
guys.
how you get the most PlayStation subscribers right there. Tell them they're not welcome. They'll come in droves.
Yeah,
they ain't welcome.
Yeah.
It's
a strategy.
We snipe them, bro. We snipe them.
3 amazing podcasts right in a row. We Bleed Green, XNC, and then, of course, this one to round out the evening. So either which way, we got your bases covered. All right, to our phenomenal chat, our panel, obviously Mental. Glad that you could obviously join us and that your mic issues sorted themselves out by the start of the show. It was always a pleasure to have you here again once again. And, we'll look forward to having you back here again soon. Let people know where they can check you out.
Right on. Main places, Twitter at Mental9R. And throw me questions. I will do my best to answer them.
Absolutely. Go give him a follow, guys. And again, he is part of the panel. I guess soon got to extend you the permanent panel invitation, which should be coming out here pretty soon. And it's up to you whether you want to accept or not. So just say I'm about ready to formally extend that to you. Yeah,
Awesome.
I told you about 5 episodes in or so. I'll let you feel this out and see if you wanted to be part of the group as a permanent fixture, or if you just wanted to be like a curtain and open up once in a while.
He could have gone a lot of ways with that. I'm surprised.
Oh, that is true. All right. To the man, his opinions are so used, they call him Titan. Titan, let people know where they can catch up with you, my friend.
YouTube and Twitter at Titan Drago, everybody. Got to give the Common Sense Award winner this week to none other than Mitchie Poo for cracking everybody up with that factual message. It's funny because it's true kind of thing about his message about the deal closed before Factions comes out. That was great, man. Great job. Keep up with the jokes, everybody. I love it. Until next time, keep bringing the common back to sense.
And you guys know where to find me. It's Noof Nukem pretty much everywhere. And right back here again on Monday nights on this particular podcast right here. That's 9 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Mountain Time. You guys are amazing. Good show tonight. Again, sorry if we went a little bit long. We didn't hit the 7-hour target that someone wanted in the chat. I'm sorry. Those 6-hour podcasts belong to our good friends over at the Iron Lord podcast. Only they can go that long and still have people ready to go. But anyway, we'll be back here again next week, and we look forward to having Dirt back in the future if he will is brave enough to come on and deal with Handy Andy again. But thanks for being here, everybody. You're amazing. Good. Saw some old faces in the chat, lots of familiar faces and new faces alike. So fantastic stuff. We'll see you again next week. Take care, everybody, and game on. Keep it real. Keep it Xbox. Let's go. Woo!
Peace out.
Cheers.
Keep it real. Keep it